Hey, ScouterStan, I want to talk about fundraising. Fundraising is a critical part of supporting your program. Without the funds, you can't have any program. Also, recharter's coming up. You have to pay for your membership as a scout. Now, a lot of the membership goes into different things, some of that being insurance. So it's important that we're responsible and make sure that we recharter. And every year, guess what? It's going to go up. That's just what goes on. So expect that. So budget has to be supported by fundraising. And there's a lot of different ways. And we need fundraising with scouts. I've actually had leaders come up and tell me that they couldn't get parents involved in scouting other than to write a check. They could not get them going. That's not the way it should be. Everyone should be involved in the fundraising. Fundraising is important for the scout. The scout needs to learn the meaning of thrifty, how other people are thrifty, how they wisely choose the products that they sell, and that money is used directly for their benefit to their program. So we need to teach that. So, and that's the important part of fundraising. Now, special note here, I am not an accountant and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm going to use terms that they like to use. That's so we can talk about it, okay? So if you have questions, make sure that you consult professionals. You might even have some parents that could help in that respect. So definitely check into it if you have questions or need clarification. Basically, there are three types of fundraising. In a local unit, you have been exposed to council level or even regional. That is something that they do to help out with units in fundraising. You know that we sell Trails End popcorn, and a lot of councils will also do camp cards. So these are wonderful things that help us go out and raise money. Now, one of the major differences between the other two of the three is that they front all of the money. You'd be amazed how expensive it is to ship popcorn all over the country. It is expensive, and they front the money for all of that. So they're a partner of that fundraising. In addition to that, the unit and whenever I say scout or unit, they are kind of together, and that's very important to understand. With that, there's a three-way split. The first is the scout. They usually get the lion's share. They get the biggest percentage. Then, of course, the council needs to be reimbursed for all of their expenses. And then you have the vendor. Of course, they have the actual manufacturing of the product. So that's kind of the process. It's a three-way split as far as everything is concerned. The next big fundraising thing is done at the unit level. The unit does a fundraiser for a special event, like they want to lower the cost of going to camp, or they want to go on a special trip or high adventure or something of that nature. They may do a separate unit fundraiser. And this, you know what it is. It's usually chocolate or beef sticks or something of that nature. And there's many different ideas. My troop, when I was growing up, we sold Christmas trees. That was a big fundraiser, and a lot of units still do. So that being the case, the unit can make a lot of funds for their program. Their program can greatly improve if they have these funds. So the unit actually splits it up. Now, of course, they have their vendors that they have to deal with, and then they have the scout and or the unit. So it could be for one or the other. That's really the second type of fundraising that's out there. The third one is individual scouts. Now, that might be a fundraiser for, let's say, an Eagle project. Eagle projects need funding. And there may be car washes, there may be the need for sales of some kind. There's a lot of different ways to raise funds for an Eagle project. Another big thing would be mom and dad. You've also got uncles and aunts and nieces and cousins and all those people that are willing to donate towards that project. You will also need to have grants. There's grants that are available. Even the people that are receiving the project might actually do some donations. So these are things to think about when raising funds for an individual project like an Eagle project. That's definitely a doable thing. Now, one of the big things that I did not mention, all three of these types of funding need certain paperwork. Now, the first one with the council, they usually take care of all of that. It's all approved, it's all handled, they do all of that paperwork. Scouting in general is a non-for-profit, the whole thing. So we have to be very careful when we're dealing with monies. There's a lot of accounting and legal stuff that they take care of. With a unit, everything's done at a break even. Okay, so if you're going to be doing a project and you need to raise $1,000, that's what it goes to. If there's any surplus, that goes towards additional program. It doesn't go into anybody's pocket. Okay, so it goes directly to the unit for its budget. That's the critical thing. And as far as paperwork, with the last two, when you're dealing with a unit, you need to fill out the proper paperwork and you need to get approval before you do any sales, before you send off for samples, before you do any of that. Please get the approval first from the council office. Go to the council office. The service center will help you get the right form and see the right people. It's not that hard. It just needs to be done. Leaders, don't drop the ball on that. You definitely want to make sure that you get approval and all the required documents that are needed. The last one, with an individual scout doing a fundraising Eagle project per se, there in the workbook of the Eagle project is actually the form. So it's all, these are things you have to get approval on before you get the funding. Otherwise, if you don't get approval, you may have to return that funding. So don't even start until you get approval. Very important. With all that, I tell you what, it's an important job being an adult leader in scouting. And we need to guide and enable and facilitate our youth to do fundraising. It's a very important part of all of this. When they get out in what I call the real world, they're going to be doing that. As an adult, that you doing a job, running your career, that's fundraising for your family. It follows the scout. They should learn these skills. It may be complex, it may be hard, but we can help them through it. And that's something that you do already. I know you do that already. If you have some interesting fundraising stories or questions, please put them in the notes. I'd love to hear about it. I read all of the comments that are made on our channel. So please join in, feel free. There's a lot of different ideas out there, so I'd like to hear them all. And if you have a question, let me know. And that's one of the wonderful things about scouting. It's a work in progress. Always think of it that way. Scouting is a great thing, and I thank you for being a big part of it. And I will see you on the trail.